This is a pre-trip on 853. We're going to start by checking all of our fluids and in cab. We're kind of lucky with this truck because all of our fluids are located inside the cab except for your coolant tank. Your coolant tank is located on the driver's side under your back seat. If you look slightly up, you'll also find your triangles right there. But your coolant tank is right there. You're looking for it to be in between max and min. If you need to fill it, you just pull this up. Well, anyway, you pull this cover up and the cap is right under it, and that's how you fill it. If you come along inside of the driver's cab, you'll find your brake fluid reservoir right next to your steering wheel. Just pop this cover off. You're looking between max and min. Don't drop the cover. If you do, pick it up. Make sure this cover always goes back on. You don't want to lose that. If you come around to the passenger side, we're going to start with the front seat. I kind of already rigged this up a little bit because it's a little harder to do with one hand. But inside here, you'll find a bunch of notes for you to read. You see it takes the engine oil takes 6 quarts of 5W30. Check your transmission fluid while the vehicle's running. And then behind your passenger seat access panel is all your dipsticks. Your washer fluid reservoir is located right next to your passenger seat. Make sure that's always topped off. Inside here, that black cap that I'm shining my light on, that's how you fill your engine oil. You're going to need to flip the seat up and stick a funnel in there as best you can. It's a little tight. To lift up this seat, all I had to do was flip these levers up, and that releases it. There's one here under your passenger steering wheel, and another one right under that hump right there. I did have to take the seat off to get it fully up because it wouldn't clear the console harness, so I also had to undo that. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. All your dipsticks are located behind your back passenger seat. You're also going to find some more notes in here. Oil dipstick, trans fluid dipstick, and then to fill oil, it just gives you a bunch of information. So you just flip this little lever right here, and you open up the access panel. That yellow dipstick, that's your oil, and the black one is your transmission fluid. So we're going to set this up so I can show you how to check them. You won't be able to hear me very well if I start this motor, so I'm going to show you the transmission fluid while the vehicle is off. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the hot range because I've had it running for a little while, but it should be okay. The oil dipstick, you always want to check the oil while the vehicle is off and not running. That's to ensure you have enough oil at the bottom of your pan. It's not like transmission fluid. So you're going to take that dipstick out, wipe it off, put it back in, and then you're going to take it out again. Ooh, don't want that falling. And then this time you're looking for your oil level. You can kind of see it. It's right at the mark of the third dot there. That's where you want it to be at. Anything below that would mean it's a little low. If it's barely on the dipstick, that's even worse. So as long as it's at this top hole, you should be good. Your transmission fluid, once again, you check while the vehicle is on and running. I cannot say that enough. I'm going to check it right now though, because you won't be able to hear me. I'll show you where it's supposed to be at. So you flip this little lever up, pull it out, just like the oil, wipe it off, put it back in, just till it's flush. Then you take it back out, and then you should see your transmission fluid level. If I'm lucky, this thing will focus. There we go. So you can see right now it's in that hot range. That's exactly where you want it to be. If it's anything below that, when you're checking it after the vehicle's been running for a little while, that means you're low on transmission fluid. I believe this is where you fill it as well. You stick a funnel in there. I did not see a reservoir for it before this video, so I'm assuming that's where you fill it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask a supervisor. Just once again, make sure you close everything you open. You don't want to leave this stuff open because it is exposed to the outside. So but I'm going to try to anyway. It's really hard to see, but that black belt in there is your serpentine belt. I know you can't see very much of it, but you at least got to check it to see if it looks worn or hanging off of pulleys. That one looks good. The steering linkages you can't really see because they're all underneath the cab. It's kind of hard to check. But you can check your tires and your suspension components. So that white sticker should be a PSI rating. It kind of got worn off after a little while, so that's got to get replaced. Normally they'd be on all four corners of your vehicle. When you're checking your tires, it's important to check the tread. Stick your finger in there. If it doesn't come almost halfway up your fingertip, that's how you know they're low and they need to be replaced. Check all your lug nuts. Make sure all of those are tight. And check your rotor. Make sure it doesn't look really, really wavy or burnt. If you look in the wheel well, make sure nothing's in the way of it spinning. Nothing's going to rub on it or anything like that. If you look behind the tire, you're going to see your shock. That's that thing right there. And you're looking at the bottom of it to make sure you don't see any oil coming out. You're going to check all your steering linkages. Make sure all of those are tight. And you're checking that leaf spring right there to see if there's any cracks or damage. While you're over here, you can also check your fuse box cover. Make sure that thing's on there. You don't want that thing to be missing because then your vehicle won't run very good. Coming down the driver's side, on the bed, you're going to see your fire extinguisher. Please focus. You're looking for that yellow needle to be in the green and this pin to be in the handle. That's how you know this thing is operational and ready to go. Your duals are kind of the same concept. You're going to check your lug nuts. You're going to check your tread. Stick your finger in there. You're also going to look in between your duals. Make sure you don't see any rocks in there. And you're going to look at that leaf spring that goes all the way back to make sure it's not cracked or damaged. You're also going to check for axle seal leaks by looking behind the tire at the bottom to see if you can see any oil dripping down. Your mud flaps are also important. Make sure they're not dragging on the ground or too high up to the bed. That prevents any rocks from flying at vehicles behind you. And you're going to take a look at your gas cap. This truck takes gas only, so don't put diesel in it. You're going to check to see if it's on and tethered and tight. And you should be good to go. We'll move on to lights. You'll also need your pre-trip. In your truck, you'll see a pre-trip. It looks something like this. You're going to go through this whole list. We already did most of this. But this is the list we're going through. Before I get in the truck, I'm going to check my seatbelt. Click that in. Make sure it holds. If it does, you're good to go. When you're getting in the truck and you sit down, if you look to your left, just kind of behind and above your head, you're going to find the GVWR. That is this number right here, 14,500 pounds. That's how much this truck weighs. And that information would go in this line right here, GCVWR. Your height is located directly in front of you on the dash at 9'2", so make sure you know what roads you're going down so you don't hit anything low. Your keys should never be left in the vehicle. That's how they get locked in the vehicle. They're in here right now because I just pulled this truck in. There's a job box on the back. That's where they get locked at the end of the day. If you look on this joystick to your left, you're going to find your parking lights and your headlights. We're going to turn those on so we can check them. And on your right, you're going to find your wiper speeds and your washer fluid. That thing's going to make some noise, and you should see washer fluid coming out. On your console, you're going to find your beacon switch. We're going to flip that on so we can check those. And up here is your airboard controller. There's a little switch right there that tells you whether or not it's on or off. This dial, I assume, is set to double arrow. It's a little hard to tell because it's just a little circle, so you got to kind of play with it. On the dash, right behind your console, you're going to find your defrost settings. Make sure they all work. That's necessary. Right below your defrost, you're going to find your 4-ways. We're going to throw those on. While your truck is running, make sure all your gauges seem to be working properly. And check all your glass items. Make sure nothing's broken, cracked, or damaged. If you need your mirrors adjusted, feel free to do so. It's important that you're able to see out of those. Your parking brake is located to your right side, right next to your seat. To engage it, just pull it up. You should see a brake light come on the dash. To check if it works, put your foot on the brake, put this thing into gear, and if the truck doesn't move after you've let your foot off the brake, then that's how you know your parking brake works. To disengage it, you're going to do everything backwards. Foot on the brake, back into park. Then you're going to hit this button, pull up slightly till you hear a click, and then let it back down. So we went through all of the in-cab stuff except for the lights. So we're going to go around and check all the lights. Brake and reverse lights are a little bit harder to do with one person. Please have a second person to help you out with that. It's also a lot safer that way. Here's one of your marker lights and turn signals. Right there you've got a turn signal and a low beam. The passenger side, once again, turn signal, low beam. If you look up on top of the cab, you're going to see some headlamps. Those also need to be lit. This door also has a marker light and a turn signal. On the passenger side of your bed, you're going to find a marker light. And if you look up top, just above your box, you're going to see a beacon. Marker light on the back passenger side. And all across the back. Make sure your brake lights and turn signals and reverse lights work. Right there is your license plate light. That needs to be glowing. It barely is, but it works. There's your beacons. My arrow board should be working right now, but it's not. I don't think I found the right switch. I know that's the switch to turn it on, but it might also be a wiring issue. There's some more of your marker lights. And another one right there on that corner. This is the driver's side. And that's basically the walk around. So I'm going to turn my 4-ways off. My high beam's on, and I'm going to throw a turn signal on as well. I guess that's a high beam instead of a marker light. That's good to know. You'll know your high beams aren't working on your headlights if you don't see one of them lit. It's the same housing, just a different bulb. Saw my turn signal over there. This side appears to be out. And back here we're looking for the turn signal. We got her. You'll do that for your all your turn signals, your 4-ways, your reverse lights, brake lights. Once again, you need a second person for those. It's not recommended to throw this thing in reverse and then walk behind your vehicle. So we'll check our list once again. So we went through all of our in-cab stuff except for our horn. Horn works. We checked all of our under hood items. We walked around the vehicle. We talked about the fuel cap. Open and close all your doors. Make sure they secure properly. Mud flaps are good. And we got the rest of those. The unusual sounds and exhaust system you're listening for while the vehicle is on and running, maybe even driving. You're listening for really obnoxious, loud sounding exhaust or anything that may be squeaking, rubbing, anything like that. This is a normal driver's license required truck. You don't need a CDL. Make sure you have your medical card on you and your proper PPE. It's a spray truck, something along the lines of hard hat, gloves, safety glasses, boots, socks, pants, long sleeve shirt, etc. Your toolbox is normally located in the job box on the back of your truck. Not required for DOT inspection. We just like to put that in there so you don't forget it. Make sure you get a good night's sleep, and your brakes self-adjusting. You don't have to do that. It's already set up. Once again, this is where you put your weight. That's a 14.5, and your vehicle height, which is 9'2", found on the dash, and found behind your head, over on your left. This is the box where you put any deficiencies, what's wrong with your truck, and then you get to sign your life away, stating that you have now completed your pre-trip. Have a good day.